Hello guys, how you doing? So today we're going to see if we can turn India into a footballing superpower. Now you're probably sitting there thinking how and why. So how we're going to do it is we're going to do it as if India have all of a sudden decided to invest heavily in their own footballing infrastructure. So we're going to give every playable Indian club world-class facilities, and I literally mean every club in these three divisions. And we're going to see how that affects Indian football as a whole, see how it affects the competition reputation, and see how it affects the world ranking. Now, why I'm doing that is because they shouldn't, a nation with a population of 1.2 billion shouldn't be 153rd in the world. It just doesn't make sense. They've got so much potential. So we're going to see if we can turn India into Brazil kind of thing. So we want to see them win a World Cup. We want to see them be first place in the world rankings. Before we begin, if you've ever fancied managing an Indian team, I'll leave a link to the custom database I'm using at the moment, which will allow you to do that. It's on FM Scout. It'll be in the description below. So, all teams in India now have world-class facilities. I'll quickly show you what that actually looks like. So we have state-of-the-art training facilities, top youth facilities, exceptional junior coaching and extensive youth recruitment for every single team in India, which is insane. Now, over time, this will probably affect all of their finances. They'll probably all become insecure. So it may affect their competition reputation. I'm not sure if that will go up much, but hopefully it will. So before we begin, I'll show you the records quickly for the Indian national team. So their all-time top goal scorer is Sunil Chetri with 43 goals. Their most capped player is Bhutia with 107. Their biggest win was against Bangladesh. They won 7-0. Their biggest defeat was against USSR. They lost 11-1, but that'll all change in time. So what we're going to do is we're going to simulate 50 years. We're going to split this video into two parts. We're going to do 25 years each. So in this part, I'll do 10 years, then recap, 10 years, then recap, then a final 5 years, and then do a recap after that. So let's begin. I actually nearly forgot to show you the current national team, so here it is. Their most valued player is worth 20,000. So after we've holidayed it 10 seasons or 10 years, then hopefully we'll have an Indian player worth at least $1 million. I mean, hopefully more, but at least $1 million. So it's been 10 years, and India are now 51st in the world ranking. So they've moved up about 102 places, which is really good. They're still managed by Wim Kuvermans, and as you can see with the top players, they've got, well, they're all in Europe. They've even got a player playing for Juventus. So let's have a little look at their national squad. Now, their most valued player is 21 million, and he plays for Inter. He's a centre-back. There's physicals. So he's moved around a lot. He started off in the Indian 3rd division, moved to the top flight of India, then moved to South Korea, then moved to City, and then moved to Inter. You've got Bharata, who's yet another centre-back, but he can also play CDM and centre-mid. He looks quite complete. Again, he moved to City at some point as well. You've got Singh, who plays for Shakhtar, another centre-back, but this guy looks really, really good. Look at those physicals. He's still only 21 as well. He moved to Slovakia, and then went to Steaua Bucharest, and then Shakhtar. You've got Kancham playing for Genoa. Looks like a decent forward. Again, the physicals. Mental, he's actually doing pretty well in Serie A. Anyone else? You've got Rashid, who plays for Utrecht. What the fuck's Grampus? Oh, a Japanese team. And then moved to Holland. Got a guy playing for PSG. He's a winger. Again, decent pace. Got another guy playing for City. Again, decent pace. Looks really, really good. Moving to South Korea and then moving to England. So it appears they always have to move from an Indian club to another Asian club usually, and then on to Europe. Next, we're going to look at the Indian schedule and see how they've performed over the last 10 years. So it doesn't look like they're going well in the Asian World Cup qualifying section. They've already been knocked out. Let's see how that came about. So they lost out to Iraq, who went on to win every single game in that group. India lost 2 games. They lost against Iraq and Iraq. So I guess that's just unfortunate, isn't it? But hopefully next time they'll manage to qualify for the World Cup. That would be decent if they manage to do that inside the next 10 years. So maybe in the next recap they'll have that in the bag. Let's see if anything else has happened. So they got to an Asian Cup semi-final. They actually lost in extra time to Japan, 3-2, who went on to win it. Uzbekistan won it in 2015. Let's see how that came about. Semi-final. So yeah, Japan just scored early on in extra time. India equalised in the 102nd minute, and Japan went on to win it. So that's unfortunate, but over the next 40 years or so, I'm sure they'll pick up a lot of Asian Cups, which is the equivalent to the Euros, of course. So let's see if anything else has happened. They won a few friendlies there. They drew 0-0 with the Philippines. They lost to New Zealand. They drew 1-1 with Sri Lanka. Yeah, and this is just poor. Losing to Mongolia 2-1. That's a feat in itself. That looks about it. Next, we're going to check how Indian club football is doing. So, as you can see, the competition reputation's moved up a little bit. It's gone from 49th place to 31st. It actually peaked at 20th in 2022, so it's improving slowly. Let's check the finances of these clubs. So they're okay. They're insecure. They're okay. Okay. Insecure. Insecure. Okay. And okay. So it's not as bad as the first 4. Hopefully, if they are in, like, some of these clubs do go really, really in debt, they'll get taken over by someone who will sort that out. But I wonder if these teams can qualify for the Asian Champions League yet. So I'll check that. Nations qualification places. We're at India. So they're in 18th place. So they can actually reach the first qualifying round of the Asian Champions League. Now they'll probably get battered, so I don't think they can compete in that year. We will check though who's managed to win. Oh shit, it's AFC, isn't it? I've missed out the A. Nightmare. Right, there we go. So past winners. You have Al Ahly, from perfect pronunciation there, from the Saudi Arabia. Is that Saudi Arabia? Yeah, it is. You got Pohang from South Korea, Suwon Samsung also from South Korea. Al Sadd, I think they're from Qatar. Yeah. You got Ura Reds. Not sure where they're from. Japan. Don't know Japanese teams apparently. You got Al Ghafra, also from Qatar, and you got Pohang again. So it's mainly been won by South Korean teams, but hopefully you'll have a few Indian winners come the end of the 50 years. Let's have a little look at the equivalent to the Europa League in Asia. And yeah, there's no sign of any Indian teams whatsoever yet. Before we skip ahead another 10 years, I'll check how the world's looking. So, starting with the World Cup, Colombia managed to win it in 2018. That's a surprise. England managed to win it 4 years later in 2022. They always seem to win it in 2022. But yet Colombia beating the United States in the final. So in 3 years' time, FM predicts Colombia to beat United States in a World Cup final. That is just so bizarre. Brazil finished 3rd place. England beat Italy in 2022. That is nuts. Let's look at the nation rankings. So you have Brazil, Italy, England, Argentina, the Netherlands, Germany, Croatia, Colombia, Turkey and France all in the top 10. The awards, Ballon d'Or, so you have Neymar, Sterling, Neymar again, and then it's just been dominated by Messi. The World Player of the Year, you have Hazard, Sterling, Neymar, Messi and one Ronaldo there. So this is how Europe is looking. So the European Championship, Italy managed to win it in 2016, Croatia won it in 2020, and Italy won it again in 2024. So let's see who they beat in the final. So Italy beat Croatia in the 2016 final. Croatia actually bounced back and won it in 2020, beating England, and Italy beat Spain in 2024. So let's see how the Champions League is looking. Doesn't look like it's showing there. Type it in. There we go. So past winners. So we have City in 2015, then United, then Real Madrid, then Liverpool, then City again, then Liverpool again, then Chelsea, then Bayern, and then Liverpool. I'm loving that. 3 Liverpools in 10 years. And then Real Madrid. It looks like it's been dominated by English teams, which is nice to see. So the Europa League, you have Inter, Juventus, Liverpool. Holy shit. You have Monaco, Bayern, PSG, Leverkusen, United, Porto, and Spurs. So let's check the Premier League. That's the FA Cup. Holders Liverpool. So we have Chelsea, City, Chelsea, City, United, United, Chelsea, Chelsea, City, and finally Liverpool. They finished second a lot. They finished second 4 times in 10 years. That's a decent amount. Now the Bundesliga, mainly dominated by Bayern. You have Serie A, mixture of Inter, Juventus, and AC Milan. La Liga, again a mixture of Atletico, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. Another 10 years has gone by, so we're now 20 years into the game. India are now 17th in the world rankings. They've got a new manager as well, called Alex Sawant. He's a regen, and unfortunately he looks really, really shit. They've actually got a player playing for Barcelona though, Mustafa Khan. So their most valued player is a guy who plays for Juventus. He's valued at 38.5 million. He's a midfielder, and look at those physicals, they are mental. Mustafa Khan, again, mental physicals. He looks really, really good. Probably a world-class fullback, to be honest. Then you have Hussein, who plays for Parma, valued at 20.5 million. He's been there a while. He's been there, nearly 10 seasons. Did well in Serie B, but he hasn't really... Well, he's performed relatively okay, hasn't he, in Serie A. Next guy is Shankar Fernandez, who plays for Schalke. He's a midfield. Actually, yeah, he's a midfielder. He's a winger. And he moved to the second Bundesliga to Paderborn from India, and then went on to Schalke. Next guy is Babu, plays for Inter. He's another centre back, and again those physicals, insane. His marking and tackling could be a little bit better though. They've got a guy playing for Chelsea, De Souza. Again, ridiculous. So let's look at their schedule once again for the last 10 years. So as you can see, they actually managed to reach a World Cup, which is decent. They beat the Ivory Coast 8-1 as well. 28 shots, that is really, really good. They did lose to France 5-1, and they lost to Germany. They managed to reach the second round, so they actually got through the group, which is encouraging. It's really, really good. England have won the World Cup 3 times in a row there, and then the Netherlands won it in 2034. That is ridiculous. But it looks like they got battered by India. Actually, it was an even-ish game. 4-0 was probably flattering for Germany. Let's see what else has happened. So it looks like they qualified comfortably this time from the Asian qualifiers. They lost again in the Asian Cup semi-final. Once again in extra time to Japan. That's fucking unfortunate. Has anything else happened? Not really. They went out early to South Korea in the previous Asian Cup. In the second round of that. But yeah, this is a lot better. So they actually managed to reach a World Cup, but then managed to progress through the group to get knocked out by Germany. So hopefully, there's still, 30 years left for them to win it. So it's good. It's looking good. So let's look at Indian club football once again. So the Indian Super League has managed to move up to its highest point. It's now 16th in the Asian club reputation, or the league reputation in Asia. Let's check the club finances for these teams. So they are in the Asian Champions League at the moment. They are currently insecure though. The next team's insecure as well. Delhi Dynamos are secure. They're insecure, okay, and okay. So let's check the previous winners. So it seems the teams that are doing well have insecure finances, which is unfortunate, but it looks like it's been dominated mainly by Kolkata, Delhi Dynamos and Chennai over the last 10 years or so. We'll see how that's changed the Asian qualification places for the Champions League though. So India are now in 5th place, so 3 teams go into the group stage and 1 goes into the 3rd qualifying round, so that's promising. We shall check if any of them have managed to win it. I have to type a bit more in. There we go. So past winners. It doesn't look that way. It's Al Ahly from Saudi Arabia and Seoul from South Korea who have really dominated the Asian Champions League over the past 10 years. Let's check the equivalent of the European or the Europa League. So see if anyone's won it. Delhi Dynamos, there we go. So we've got a first Indian team winning a Asian continental competition, and actually Delhi Dynamos finished runner-up this year as well. Before we skip ahead another 5 years, I'll show you the world rankings at the moment. So in first place is Brazil, then it's Spain, the Netherlands, England, Argentina, France, Germany, Ecuador, Italy and Portugal in the top 10. You have Wales in 12th position, the Ukraine in 13th, Uruguay in 16th, Australia in 15th. I'm not sure why Uruguay says 16th, but they're like ahead of Australia who are 15th. That doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. Maybe because... No, I actually don't know. They're on the same points, but shouldn't that be the other way round? I don't know. But then you have India. So it looks like the United States have dropped off a little bit after losing that 2018 World Cup final to Colombia. But Ashley Hunt's the best rated player in the world. Let's see this guy. And yeah, that is ridiculous. Look at those goals. Oh my days. What? 149 appearances for England, 127 goals. What the actual fuck? That is mental, man. So he's the most capped player, and he also has the most goals. That regen for Chelsea has pretty much dominated the Ballon d'Or in recent years. He's won it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. That is nuts. And he's also won the World Player of the Year on a few occasions as well. But he's 31. Those stats for a 31-year-old, that is crazy. I really want to check his current ability. Current ability, 194. Potential ability, 200. It caps out, it maxes out at fucking 200 as well. He's in his prime, he was probably the best player possible. And that is just crazy. Another 5 years have passed, and India are now 3rd in the world ranking, so that's really, really impressive. They surely must have won something to go that high. They're still managed by that terrible regen manager, Alex Sawant. They do have a guy playing for Real Madrid, though, so we'll quickly check their team. And the guy who's playing for Real Madrid is the highest rated, highest valued player, I should say. His height is 5'5" for a centre-back. His jumping reach is 2. Holy shit, he's got 60 in heading, but that 2 jumping reach probably stop him from becoming world class. But he moved there for 33 million a few seasons ago. The next guy with the extremely long name who plays for Bordeaux, he's valued at 26.5 million. He's a striker, and again, Indian regions seem to have fantastic physicals for some reason. He's got a good record for Bordeaux there. Then you've got Fernandez, a Indian name, of course. Fernandez, what? But he plays for Parma. A few players have gone to Parma as well, or Italian clubs in general. Babu's still playing for Inter. You've got Pereira at Stade Rennais in France. He looks like a decent player. Then you've got this guy who plays for Udinese. And then you've got Coutinho, another typical Indian name. So here's how the Indian national team records are looking at the moment. So their all-time top goalscorer has changed to Kanchan, who managed to score 76 goals in 87 games. He's now retired and become a manager. Their most capped player is Mustafa Khan with 111 caps. He's the guy who plays for Barcelona. He's on 245 grand a week. And last season he managed an 8.03 in the league from left back. That's insane. So their biggest win is now 8-0 versus Singapore. They managed that in March 2026. and the highest scoring game is the one against Ivory Coast, where they beat them 8-1 in the World Cup group. So sequences, they won 23 games in a row from March 2024 to November 2026, and they went 31 games without losing from June 2035 to July 2038. So that's pretty impressive. So we are back on the schedule, so we're going to check how India have performed over the past 5 years and see why they are now third in the world rankings. So they've managed to win the Asian Cup there, beating Japan in the final, getting revenge because Japan, remember, knocked them out in 2 Asian Cup semi-finals, both in extra time. So they finally managed to beat them, this time in the final, and it was a close game, but they got the job done, so they got themselves an Asian Cup there. And they also managed to reach a World Cup semi-final, losing to England. How unlucky is that? Let's go on to the semi-final. Yeah, Congo as well managed to reach a World Cup semi-final. What the hell is going on? Again, a close game. Both teams had 4 shots on target. England were just more clinical on the day. But reaching a World Cup semi-final, that's really good. I'm happy with that. Third place playoff. India did eventually finish 4th, losing to Congo 1-0. And yeah, they probably should have won that game anyway. But Brazil went on to win it, beating England 1-0 in the final. So let's see what else has happened. So in the Asian Cup in 2035, they lost to Saudi Arabia 2-1. So once again, we're going to have a little look at the Indian club football scene. So their competition reputation has actually dropped 1 place to 17th. They have peaked though at 13th in 2035 and 2037. Let's have a little look at the finances. So we have... Okay, I actually want to check if there's been any tycoons. No. So they're okay, no tycoons though. What about these? So they're secure. Still no tycoons, I don't think. Oh no, we have a tycoon. Sweet. So Chennai is he withdrew his funding literally 5 months after taking over. That is unfortunate for them. But we have a tycoon. Delhi Dynamos. They are secure as well. Yeah, they have a tycoon. They've had a tycoon since 2032. Interesting. You can see there, the Champions League runners-up, so we'll look at that in a minute. So they're secure, they're insecure. Any more tycoons? Probably not. Oh, clicked on the wrong thing. So they're okay. FC Pune. That is an awesome name. So they're okay, they're now in the Asian Champions League. But they don't have a tycoon either. Mumbai City, they're insecure, they won't have a tycoon. Northeast United, did they? No. So we've had 2 tycoons taking over 2 Indian clubs, but one of them has withdrew his funding already. But let's check the Asian Champions League. Let's check the qualification places first. So India are now 6th. I think they were 5th, weren't they? But the same thing, 3 group stage, 3 teams go in the group stage and 1 goes into the 3rd qualifying round. So let's check the Asian Champions League. Go on past winners. How unfortunate, see, Delhi Dynamos, runners-up 2 years in a row. That is so unlucky. Let's check this cup here. And yeah, so no new Indian winners, unfortunately. I'll check how the world's looking one final time before we call it a day for this video. So Brazil are in 1st place, Ecuador in 2nd, you've got India in 3rd, United States of America in 4th, England, Italy, Serbia, Morocco, Argentina and the Netherlands complete the top 10. And you've got Saudi Arabia in 11th, France, Spain and Germany are 13th, 14th and 15th. Congo are in 16th. Wales have dropped down to 19th. You've got Tunisia up there. You've got South Africa up there as well. Russia, Poland, Croatia, Portugal, they've all dropped down. That's nuts. Let's check the competitions, like the Premier League. So it's mainly been won by the top 4. You've got like 4 titles for Liverpool there. You've got loads for City. It's been mainly won by City actually. League 1 has been absolutely dominated by PSG, bar the 1 season where Monaco managed to win it. Serie A, a mixture of Juventus and AC Milan. Then you've got La Liga, which has been Real Madrid, Barcelona and Atletico. So let's check the UEFA Champions League. So Zenit are the current holders. You have Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid, actually, yeah, it's Porto, isn't it? So you have Porto, Barcelona, Chelsea, City, Bayern, Porto again. So Porto have won it twice. Atletico, City, Chelsea, City, Juventus, Real Madrid, Juventus, Chelsea, and finally Zenit. So a bit of a mixture there. Europa League. You have any strange ones? You have Anderlecht winning it there. You've got Celtic and Fiorentina winning it. So that's decent. Let's go back to check like the Ballon d'Or. It's been dominated by that crazy regen for Chelsea, Ashley Hunt. Winning it way into his 30s though. His goal scoring record though, 146 goals in 171 appearances for England is just ridiculous. That's it for the episode, guys. If you're looking forward to part 2, leave a like and I shall speak to you soon. Bye bye.